This is Binghamton Now on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
I'm Bob Joseph. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Binghamton Now begins. And we will be taking your phone calls coming up. We'll give you the secret phone number in just a few minutes because we would love to hear from you on Binghamton Now. WNBF. First, we start the program off in Susquehanna County with a preview of a special event that'll be coming up next month. That is the Montrose Arts Weekend. And joining us now to tell us a bit about it is Jennifer Joseph. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I am well. How are things in beautiful Susquehanna County?
Oh, it's a little bit chilly this morning, but it's beautiful as ever.
Feels a little bit like fall. It seems like an autumn preview this morning.
Yes, we're definitely getting the preview for that, and I'm happy to be talking about the preview for the Montrose Arts Weekend,
which is coming up before long. Tell us about the weekend. It's just a few weeks away, and tell us when it will be and a little bit about what people can expect.
Okay, well, Montrose Arts Weekend will be happening September 21st and 22nd, 2024, which is a Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we will be doing our thing from noon until 8 p.m., and Sunday we will be happening between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., and all events will be taking place in historic downtown Montrose, PA.
A beautiful community. I love Montrose no matter what time of year. Hey, now that I look at it, September 21st and 22nd, that'll be, in fact, the first official weekend of fall. So it's a good way to get set for autumn activities by visiting Montrose.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, and we have a lot of fun activities planned. We're going to have a famous artist scavenger hunt. So we will have actors from the Endless Mountain Theater Company dressed up as famous artists, and they'll be popping up in various galleries and shops and restaurants or on the streets of Montrose. And the goal is to collect autographs from these famous artists for a chance to win a prize in the drawing. And then on Saturday, we're going to be having a community painting project at Pink Arrow Arts. We'll just be putting out a bunch of tables and let anybody come up and throw down with some paintbrushes and make a big, beautiful painting that talks about what it is to be a community. And then there will be an exhibition at the Slanted Art Cooperative Gallery, which is homage to our favorite artists. And the artwork will be from gallery members who are going to be paying tribute to their favorite artists. And then at the Rimal Center, we'll be having different performances, concerts, theater, dance performances, and that'll be ongoing throughout the weekend. Also, we'll be having plein air artists who are going to be set up with their easels around downtown Montrose, making paintings live and in person. So, and then also Slanted Art Cooperative and Pink Arrow Arts will be having hands-on art workshops, live demonstrations. I know that at Pink Arrow we'll be having a pottery demonstration along with the community painting, and Slanted Art is going to be having a number of different demonstrations and classes going on all weekend. And then we have other participating businesses and organizations who will be doing things. For example, Soaring Gardens Artist Residency will be hosting a kids game based on a Van Gogh painting, and we'll have another game that is sort of a fishing game where kids can catch fish based on one of Matisse's goldfish paintings. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, I think it's something that people, whether they're closer to Montrose or even folks here in the Triple Cities, Binghamton, Johnson City, Endicott, and Vestal, if they are looking for something to do, September 21st and 22nd, sounds like it would be great to take a quick ride down and have some fun. Sounds like it'll be a great weekend.
Yes, so I think it's really going to be great. We have a number of wonderful businesses and organizations who are participating. So we have, as I mentioned, Endless Mountain Theater Company, Pink Arrow Arts, Soaring Gardens Artist Residency, great little coffee shop called Cuppa, some retail spaces from the Heart, Relic, Montrose Precious Metals, and, of course, the Rimal Center. Mr. Zim Zim is a great restaurant in Venice to Madrid, and Uptown Grill. And the restaurants will be featuring art-themed dishes, specials for the weekend. So I think it's going to be a great time.
And if people want more information, I understand there is a Facebook page that gives sort of an overview of the upcoming Montrose Arts Weekend.
Yes, and there will be updates posted there as well. So you can visit our page on Facebook, and it is, quote, Montrose Arts Weekend. And that's where you can follow along for what's coming next.
Jennifer Joseph, thank you so much for offering us a preview of next month's special weekend in Montrose. Hope you have a really good day and hope that weekend goes well. Maybe I'll pop down to check it out myself.
Well, we'd love to see you. Hope we can attract a big crowd and celebrate the arts in Susquehanna County.
Sounds like a great plan. Hope you have a wonderful day.
You too, Bob. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. It's 10:15. You're listening to News Radio, WNBF. This is Bob Joseph. Of course, so much excitement and even joy in the air with all the speeches last night. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the coverage. I personally was unable to enjoy the coverage because I'm working the early shift this week, so I missed most of the highlights at the convention in Chicago. Of course, it's not over. It's hardly over. It's far from over. It'll continue tonight and then conclude tomorrow. But I'm sure we'll probably take some calls. Our secret phone number, 607-772-1290. If you want to talk about that or things closer to Binghamton, we're here for you on News Radio, WNBF. WNBF.com. Binghamton now, moving forward, taking our first caller. Hi, you're caller number one. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
It's Beverly from the town of Dickinson.
Congratulations, you're our first caller.
I was watching the debate the other night. How come it was on so late? I thought it was going to be on around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make sure more people across the country could see it, because only a small portion of people actually live in the Eastern time zone. So I think they wanted people, especially in Denver and also in Pacific Palisades, to have an opportunity to see all the coverage, all the excitement.
Oh, yeah, it was on last night, but I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see it either because I had to get some sleep because I'm working early this week, but I heard it was a great success.
I see, yeah. Is it on tonight? Do you know what time it's going to be on tonight?
I think it's going to start around, do you have the CNN channel?
Yeah.
Okay. You could probably start, I think it's going to be on the CNN channel starting at 6.
Oh, 6, yes. It was pretty interesting, but, but the one that's running with Kamala Harris, he looked awful tired.
Yeah, well, it's exhausting to be a vice presidential candidate in 2024. He has to do interviews and news conferences and all that, so it's got to be very exhausting.
Yeah, I told you before that I met some of the presidents. I met Truman and Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I really, really liked Ronald Reagan. I stood in line 4 hours at Ty Cobb Stadium.
Oh, I was there, too. I remember seeing you. That was September 12th, 1984. Remember?
Yeah. It was nice. I was probably, I don't know how the heck I got up there through the crowd, but I did. And I wasn't too far away from him, but I really liked him.
And you know what? I can't remember all the details. I mean, there was a guy there who made a big introductory speech, and Warren Anderson was there, and Endicott Mayor Marion Carino. So everybody who was anybody was there.
And I met Bob Dole's wife when I was out in Vegas.
Oh, Elizabeth Dole. Yeah, she used to. I think she's the one who told her husband to make those commercials.
Yeah, well, he was I talked to her for quite a while, and I decided to come back and vote for him.
Yeah, she was really very. I think she was one of America's best transportation secretaries. I met Bob Dole once. He was in Johnson City.
I went to see Bill Clinton, and he came in real late.
I remember it. It was a Sunday morning in October, and he kept us all waiting. And I'm thinking, come on, man, we got things to do. We have people to see, and at least he finally showed up. But man, there were thousands of us just waiting for William Jefferson Clinton.
Money to see him.
Yes.
I don't remember how much it cost, but I know that I took the whole day off from work.
Yeah, well, I know one thing. I didn't pay because I had to cover it for work. I had to cover it as a journalist, so I didn't pay a penny. But I still wasn't happy because here's the thing. He shows up late, and he didn't do an interview. I thought he was going to do a radio interview with me, and he never did one.
Yeah.
Because I had a few questions for that guy, and I think you know what they were. So, anyway, well, good times. Appreciate the memories. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
All right. Here it is, WNBF Live at 10:23 with your friend, Bob Joseph, on the radio.
News Radio 1290 WNBF. Providing you with the best solutions of your lifetime. The KSO Insurance Weekly Spotlight with Karen Sweet O'Neill on News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Following segment is sponsored by KSO Insurance Solutions. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Great. All right, let's get right to it. We need advice. We need guidance. We need money-saving tips.
All right, let me see if I can deliver. We're talking about how to protect your money that you've accumulated all these years, asset protection, because if you have an accident or an illness, some kind of health situation, it's going to cost money in order to maybe get you better, whether it's home health care, nursing home, or assisted living. And these numbers are pretty big, Bob, on the expenditures that people need to put out there if they need those services. And so, we're talking, on a monthly basis, about $14,000 a month for skilled nursing. Home health care, it's going to be run between, $30 to $45 an hour in many cases. And assisted living is now close to $6,000. And in some areas a little bit higher a month, that is. So how do you pay for those services, whether it's, for a long period of time or an intermittent period of time based on an accident, and you're going to get better, but you need some help with the skilled care, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and so on. Well, if Medicare is not involved, and Medicare only pays for specific time periods if you qualify with the eligibility of a 3-night stay in a hospital beforehand and classified as an inpatient, then Medicare may be involved in your expenditure for those services up to 100 days. And then after that, Medicare walks away because Medicare doesn't pay anything. So you might say, well, 100 days, that's not bad, but it can be bad if you're not Medicare eligible, number one, or if you don't meet the eligibility requirement for Medicare to pay. So you're talking about $30,000, $40,000 just right off the top in many cases. So what do you do? Well, being prepared, and we talk about this quite a lot, whether it's Medicare or disability or life insurance or long-term care, being prepared is essential because then that way, if you have one of, an accident or an illness, an incident that's going to require these expensive services, then you're going to be able to hopefully have set the money aside, and that would have to be quite a bundle, or you have prepared by purchasing long-term care insurance or life insurance with a long-term care rider, or you've met with an elder law attorney and decided to divest some of your assets and go that route. So all of those things can help pay or completely pay those services. However, you need to figure out which is the right one for you. And, you know, I'll tell you what, long-term care insurance has been a godsend for a lot of people that were in those situations, Bob. And, you know, we've been doing this for many, 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 many years. And the coverage can be excellent. The problem that we're seeing in this arena is that the rate hikes are becoming, in many cases, you know, prohibitive of these existing policyholders to actually pay the premiums because the rates are going up so high. So what do? Well, one of the things that we do is we look at alternative products that are going to create your comfort zone and help you pay for services if you should need them. And one of those products is what I call it a hybrid product. And they're life insurance contracts with long-term care riders. And we've talked about this, you know, several times before, but it needs to be talked about a lot more because this situation is not going to go away. I mean, they're patching us up. The people are living to, you know, over 100. But guess what? They need some help when they do that. So, you know, what is a hybrid product? It's a life insurance contract with a long-term care rider. The insurance industry, Bob, didn't put those products on the market so that they said, well, no matter what happens, you'll be able to use these services. One of the reasons they put these products on the market was because they weren't selling enough long-term care insurance because one of the biggest objections when looking at that product was, what if I pay this money all these years, 20, 25, 30 years, and I never use it? Where does all that money go? And the answer is, well, it's pure insurance, so it stays with the insurance company, but guess what? You didn't want to use it because that would have meant you were sick or you needed care. But you know what? A lot of people objected to that and said, I'm just not going to buy it. So the insurance industry is there. They are there to make money, Bob. So they came out with these products many, many years ago. And actually, they've come to the surface as being one of the best products to protect your assets. And one of the reasons is because, let's say you have $500,000 in coverage, okay? And that's your death benefit, or we refer to it as your face amount for life insurance. And you never need to use any long-term care benefits. Guess what? Your beneficiaries are going to receive that amount of money when you pass away. But let's say you do need help. You come into a chronic condition, you are allowed to access that death benefit to help pay for the cost of your care. It comes into play extremely well when you have home care services because what they do is basically send you the check because they're not in the long-term care arena. They're in the life insurance arena. So it uncuffs your hands on who you can use to pay for the care. So a very, very big benefit in the long-term care. The other reason, Bob, that it's so important is because there's rate locks, which means your insurance premium cannot increase. If it's $200 a month, it's going to be $200 a month for the remainder of your contract. And that in itself is very advantageous, so you know you're not going to be outpriced by the market increases we're seeing. So the bottom line is to just, you know, look out there, see what's happening, be prepared. And in many cases, you may say, you know, I talked to my elder law attorney. We have wonderful elder law attorneys in our area. We're very fortunate. And they said, you know, let's do this. Our biggest asset is the home. Maybe we'll, you know, put that in the children's names, and then we can use this little bundle of money over here in the event my parents need something. Lot of ways to protect your assets. Most importantly, you want to just get the information and, you know, see which is the best way for you in order to protect that hard-earned money that you work for. We are at 1708 Vestal Parkway East, up above Plato's Closet in Style Encore. You can reach us several ways for an appointment. You can simply give us a call at 607-772-4898. You can Google us at KSO Insurance, and all our contact information comes up, including our website. You can make an appointment that way. And if you missed the phone number, we have a big display ad under insurance in the Yellow Pages.
Karen Sweet O'Neill, thank you for the guidance.
You are welcome. You have a great day, Bob.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
Thank you. And the previous live segment was sponsored by KSO Insurance Solutions. 10:32, it's WNBF Live. This is Bob Joseph. Once again, the secret phone number is 607-772-1290. This number is for use only for people who want to call the program. 607-772-1290. If you want to contact WNBF for any other purpose, please use our business number. 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com. Back to phones we go. Let's take some calls now. Gary from Binghamton's West Side, you're on the air. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Just a little follow-up to the Karen Sweet O'Neill story. I used to live down in Pennsylvania, and I know a person down there that uses this product. Now, sometimes if you watch daytime TV, besides the Riley and Molinaro ads, there's these ads about where you can take care of someone. Like if you're sick, you can have someone that you know take care of you, and they will pay that person to do that. And it just so happens I met an old friend from Pennsylvania, and he was telling me that he has his granddaughter who has some issues, and that he is taking care of her through one of those companies. Do you know what companies I'm talking about? Where you can? Well,
I've heard the ads. I don't know. I wasn't sure exactly how it worked. So, say if I need help, I can have them set it up. And can I request who? Because I know who I'd like to take care of me.
Yes, if that person's willing to do it, that person would probably have to do the paperwork and all that. But they can,
that's no problem.
They can take care of you and get paid.
Sure.
He's getting paid $15 an hour for 40 hours a week. So
sounds like a good gig.
It does sound like a good gig, and I was like, wow, that's really good that you can do that, and it makes it easier for the person that's helping out to stay there and help out because they're getting some type of cash, behind the deal. Whereas if you have a family member, they're going to do it anyway, right? They're going to take care of,
Yeah, but that's out of a sense of obligation. If somebody's getting paid, to take care of me, then my guess is they'll be happier because they're getting paid.
Yes. Well, I don't know if he's happier because he's getting paid, but he's happy. Well, I guess he is happier.
Well,
sure.
I don't know anybody who is unhappy about getting paid to do something.
I could probably think of some, like maybe prison guards, but I don't know.
It's a job.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's a necessary job too. That's the thing. And I will be the first to admit, being a correction officer may not be a barrel of laughs, but it's a very essential job. And
absolutely,
from all I can glean from people who do the job, they go through the training and they understand, it's necessary to society. And so thankfully we have people who are willing to do a difficult job. The same with people in various roles in medical facilities. I mean, it's not all, not everybody is a multi-billion-dollar surgeon driving, the latest sports car into her reserved parking space. It's not all a barrel of laughs. I mean, every institution has to have support people that make it function. Look at this. True. I mean, look at this job. I come in here every day, day after day after day, stand here talking and trying to inform people in front of a microphone. I don't even get a chance to see the people I'm talking to. You see what I'm saying? And yet I show up every day on time, And so, I'll do it. It's not as glamorous as some people might think.
Here's an idea, Bob. Like you could do like a private FaceTime with your callers after hours and make money from that. Like for $100, you can charge Gary from the West Side $100 to FaceTime you, and then you'd be able to see them. Just a little money-making scheme.
All right. All right. I'll try it this weekend. We'll see how much money I can raise. see how that goes over with the corporate people. Yeah, and yes, my manager, she'll be like Monday morning, Bob, let's take a meeting. Well, yeah, but I have to go on the air in about a minute or two. No, actually, you don't. Let's get in my office, close the door. We need to talk.
And bring your badge.
Bring your badge. Bring your key fob, and make sure if you have any personal items, be sure to put them in this little shoebox.
But the guy from Pennsylvania. So I've seen the ads. I never met anybody firsthand who used it. He's using it. He's very happy with it. It's something that's somebody might be able to use as they get older and they have somebody younger. Okay,
all right. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you. It's 10:41 at WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Bob. This is Vinny from Binghamton.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. I was wondering if we would hear from you, and I apologize for the interruption, but out of a sense of duty, let's by way of introducing the segment, in case people didn't hear it, there was a big night. Last night was a big night. It was carried on all the best channels.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
So I didn't see that because I had to go to bed early. So I think that 22 seconds probably summed up the message to the American people.
Yeah, it did. I mean, there was Obama. It was perfect with his speech. Michelle did a good job. Actually, all the speakers were good. You should see old Chuck Schumer.
Oh, I saw that. What is wrong with that guy?
Bob, he's
out of control. I saw. They showed a clip of him on the Fox channels, and everybody was laughing at him. They were laughing at him, Vinny, not with him.
Well, you should have seen him the first night when they asked him, and the question came up about, what are you going to tell Trump? And he said, and he was singing, "You can't always get what you want." I said, "Oh boy."
Chuck Schumer said that? Our Chuck Schumer said that.
Yes, he did.
Oh. See, I wish I had seen it. I wish I had stayed up late and not missed that kind of personalized message.
Well, you know what happened too that first night, Bob? Everybody, you always, when you get up, you're only supposed to talk so long, but between all the standing ovations and the long talk, it ran over. And James Taylor was supposed to perform the first night, but he couldn't because it just ran too long. And he thought, no problem, it was just an honor to be invited here and stuff like that. But you know what I a lot of people are saying. Well, some of the news people are saying, all this enthusiasm, this is great, but how long is it going to last? This is my answer. This is what I've talked to you on this show for many months now. My anger at the press not covering Biden supporters. All they want to do is cover these Trump supporters.
Oh, I've noticed that. And even Don Bongino mentions it, too, because he says, can't they find any Kamala Harris supporters, and the fact is, they can. I could. Yeah. Anybody could. It's a question of who they choose to put on their newscasts and on their talk shows. And I see a concerted effort to shut out many of the Harris wall supporters. I mean, it's clear. I mean, even on the most liberal channels, it's clear that they're going out of their way not to feature the people who support the Democratic ticket.
Well, Kamala Harris and Waltz, they weren't there last night. They were across town campaigning, and they had 2 sold-out arenas. This is what I was talking about. These people, they finally got their time. These 4 days or 3 days, I think it's 4 days. These 4 days is for them. This is for us. We've been neglected for 3.5 years. Now it's our time to get together and celebrate. And they're coming out. And so it's like, Obama talked about it last night. It's going to be hard. This is going to be close. He knows. We know. We've been through this before. We're not going to, here's another thing. They were talking about Hillary Clinton and when she lost. And what was one of the things that she did wrong? She didn't address the negative stuff. That's no good. That's false.
Oh, you mean she didn't act like a little crybaby?
Yeah. She didn't attack this stuff. And this is what I'm saying. When I call in a lot of times, you hear these Trumpers call in and say these distorted lies, then they turn around and tell you you're distorting things. No, you are, and you know it. And if you leave it on the table, Bob, it starts to rot and it starts to smell. And now you got a whole nother ballgame now.
Sure, it takes on all the ambiance of a very bad fish market.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think it was great that we can get together, and like I said, we can see. I just hope Chuck doesn't fall. Don't fall over any chairs.
Well, that's the thing. He better watch out. I mean, I enjoy youthful enthusiasm, but Charles Schumer is no longer youthful. He may be enthusiastic, but he's not as young as he once was. Thank you, Vinny.
Okay.
10:47, yeah. A cautionary tale to our friend Charles Schumer. Please celebrate, but celebrate with caution. Let's go to the calls. Let's take line 37. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, what's my name? My name is Matt Ryan. And anyway.
Wait a second. Hold on one cotton-picking minute.
This November, we can choose a brighter, a fairer, a freer future. Or we can relive the dark night of Trump's American carnage.
See, there's Charles Schumer. He summed it up, I think, eloquently in 14 seconds.
Yeah, but, it was, I mean, the whole convention has been amazing, a little over time on Monday, but, unfortunately we didn't get to hear James Taylor, but there's a dubbed version of his song going around, which is pretty funny. But anyway, what really gets me is the 4 or 5, I forget now, people, especially Stephanie Gresham, who told the story about why she resigned on January 6th when she wrote a message to Melania saying, can you please put out a message to the people it's okay to protest but not to be violent? And the one word, she got a one-word response back from her, no. So Melania was in on it too. But anyway.
Wait a second. Wait, I want to hear this because I didn't hear this. I want to hear this in Stephanie Grisham's own words because I sadly was unable to see this live. So let's hear exactly what the former Trump press secretary Stephanie Gresham had to say about this because I think this is pretty darn important.
On January 6th, I asked Melania if we could at least tweet that while peaceful protest is the right of every American, there's no place for lawlessness or violence. She replied with one word, no. I became the first senior staffer to resign that day.
She should get like a presidential medal of heroism or whatever they give out to people who are heroes because she wanted to do the right thing on January 6th, but it turns out Melania dissuaded her. And what kind of a first lady, when the country is going straight down the tubes, when you've got violence at the Capitol, I mean, it's one thing for a sore loser not to call off the rabble-rousers and the troublemakers, but I would have thought the first lady would have said, yes, Stephanie, please, 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 put out on Twitter that there's no place for lawlessness or violence. Why would Melania be against that?
Exactly. So, so here's my point. The other thing is Karl Rove said, Republicans, here's what he said, Republicans usually fall in line, Democrats usually fall in love with their candidates. Karl Rove said this is the first time he has seen the Democrats fall in line and fall in love, which I think bodes very well for the Democrats and bad, especially when Donald Trump's appearance yesterday with some police agency, no crowd there, but keeps repeating this one thing where if you go out for a loaf of bread, you're going to get raped and mugged and killed. It's just not.
I'm going to say nobody's going to buy what he's cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't doubt that there are some areas in this country where people are facing incredible levels of violent crimes. There are pockets of serious problems in parts of our country. For the most part, most Americans do not feel unsafe in their homes, and most Americans don't feel unsafe on their main street. Most Americans don't feel unsafe in their mall, and they don't feel unsafe going to the store to buy a loaf of bread or an old-fashioned sub. In fact, I submit to you, Matt Ryan, when most people go to the store, they feel safer than ever.
I agree, because the reality is it is safer than it's been since they say the rates are falling so low of violent crime that it's soon going to be lower than it was in 1950.
Soon it'll be so low they won't even bother keeping track. The statisticians will be laid off because crime rates will plummet in most of the country, except Chicago.
And that isn't to say, like you said, there's pockets of crime, there's places that but the real difference has been that the Obama administration gave a lot of money to local police forces to fight against gun violence, and it's working. And so people forget, you got to see what's causing that dramatic drop. Part of it is, I think there's more opportunity for people in some places. There's lots of jobs available, and people can work if they want to work. And, the whole point is the difference between, and we want to get it back so both parties are pushing a message of hope and what their vision of.
Well, not these messages that are so joyless and devoid of optimism, not the nattering nabobs of negativism where everything they say from the moment they wake up until they finally go to sleep and dream of more wackiness and weirdness. Just because you're up 18, 20 hours a day doesn't mean you should be spewing all sorts of negativism all the time. I mean, yeah, occasionally you might stub your toe, but that doesn't mean the whole day is a washout.
Yeah, and then one of the commentators, I think it was Justin Jones, that really great orator from Tennessee, I think he is. He said, we need to be making America, it shouldn't be MAGA. It should be making America this is a continuous thing he was talking about. And I've said this many times, and I try to convince people. Every election is the most important election because we're trying to make America what it ought to be, and if we have the principles that it was founded on, and we've been fighting that battle since the day. Because let's not forget, women couldn't vote, black people couldn't vote, many people couldn't vote, and there's so many, you couldn't even vote unless you were a landowner at one point. We've progressed so much, but we have a lot more progression to do. So what he was saying is we should be making America what it ought to be. That should be our mantra all the time, and continue to improve. And I think that's the big difference. Why everybody's saying we're not going back, because it seems like the other side wants us to go backwards.
Well, you get that sense sometimes. All right, thanks. That's Matt in Binghamton. It's 10:54. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where you're calling from?
This is Jim from Owego.
Hi, Jim. Good morning.
Hi. Just a couple things. And I'm not going to go into it too much, but if crime is so much better now, then why are all the police unions and I have a relative that works on the border why are they all supporting Trump?
Police unions traditionally support the Republican candidate.
That's because they don't push for defunding and they support.
When's the last time a police union supported the Democratic candidate?
I don't know, but why should they?
You answered your own question, because they never do. Well, I won't say never, because I'm sure there's somewhere in the recent past, somewhere in this country where a police union supported the Democratic candidate. But to your point, Republicans virtually always, or police unions virtually always support the Republican candidate. That's why they exist, as well as to support their members.
Because their policies are better. But anyways, before everybody gets out on their skis, the American public is being gaslit by these polling agencies.
I don't want to talk about polling. Let's talk about issues. And polling, wait for Dan Bongino and John Hannity. They know about polling. Let's talk about the issues.
Well, that was why I wanted to call in.
Talk about an issue, not polling. This is not the show for polling. That's a big, giant waste of time and money. What other issues? Obviously, crime is a concern. What about the economy?
Immigration, the economy is 40-50% more for most products. Gas is up. It's much harder to make it now than it was during Trump's time, and anybody that says different doesn't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I'd much rather be living under Trump's economy than this Biden economy.
Well, vote for him and you'll find out. You know, if enough people support him this time, he'll be a winner, and then we can find out in the next 4 years how low prices can go.
Well, we already have something to compare, and Kamala's Marxist policies aren't going to do any better. So I don't. This price controlling and price gouging, that's a joke. Even Washington Post.
Yeah, the last time we had price controls, it was Republican Richard Nixon who did it. Remember that?
That was before my time.
Yeah, well, hey, speaking of time, we're out of time for this segment. Appreciate your call. More calls are coming up. Yes, never forget Nixon's price controls and how well they worked. This is Bob Joseph live on WNBF. Back to the phones we go, and we start the hour with Vic from the Forks. Good morning.
Was that Eddie and the Cruisers you were playing?
Tears for Fears.
Hey, listen. I watched that DNC presentation last night, and I don't know if people realize it, but they mentioned Donald Trump over 150, 160 times.
Hey, they have to identify the competition. You have to identify the competition. Sometimes even pickup truck commercials will identify a competitor when they're trying to prove that their product is infinitely better.
You know, Bob, I thought these conventions were where they were supposed to talk about what to do for the country, their ideas, their plans for the future, not all 100% Trump bashing. One lady even got on there that if Trump elected, he'll weaponize the FBI and the DOJ against the Democrats. Exactly what they did to Trump. Now, if they can mention 170 times the way they did last night, just add the word voters, because that's where they were attacking, not Trump, but Trump voters. Every time they say Trump, if you put voters behind that word, then that's who they're addressing, the American people who voted for Trump. And they're calling all kinds of names in this convention. And they're supposed to be the party of love and hope. You know, that's Obama up there speaking on his 10-year ago message of love, hope, and change.
And joy. Remember joy.
Yeah, who can forget joy? Yeah. But
I mean, here's the problem. Here's the problem, because we have it on tape. He said during the Fox interview in June that he had every right to go after his political opponents if he's elected in November. So we have tapes. He said on tape, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them. So the bottom line is, he said that on tape, and so it gives his opponents ammunition, because it's clear what he wants to do. Now, whether this would be another promise that he would break, that's to be seen. We would only know that if he wins the election and is sworn in January 20th, to see if he would go after his political opponents, like he said on the Fox channel in June.
No, well,
he said it on the Fox channel. It was on the Fox channel in June.
Finish my statement. But he also said there's more important things to do in this country than to go retaliate against.
Yeah, but he can multitask. He can do important things for the country and still go after his opponents. That's the fear. That's why Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Barack Obama and Keith Olbermann, that's why they're worried. They're worried that if he gets in the White House again, because he said it on the Fox channel, that he has every right to go after his political opponents, they're worried that he's going to go after them. Maybe he won't, but maybe he will.
What's the difference? Trump goes after him, the sheriff comes after me, or you?
No, that's different. If Trump goes after me, I'm in big trouble. He's a billionaire. He has lots of money. He could do whatever he wants to squish me out, squish me like a little radio bug. And you would never hear me again. You would never see me again. People would be like, do you remember all those years Bob Joseph was on talking about you-know-who? And then some people would be calling into the program and telling the host and say, well, what do you expect? You know, I don't want to live in a country where somebody says he has every right to go after people who've disagreed with him.
No, not disagreed with him, Bob. Unlawful.
Well, he better not come after me. When he's president, he better not come after me, Vic.
I guess
By the way, your phone's not doing well. Your phone keeps dropping out. But again, if this guy is sworn in on January 20th and then carries out this veiled threat where he thinks he has every right to go after so-called political opponents, well, that's not going to look right. What kind of message would that send to kids? So he says it in these interviews. He says it in the interviews. That's the scary thing. If he was just saying this to people like Rudy Giuliani and who's the other guy, that'd be different if he was saying it off the record. If he was telling, who's the kid who was selling pillows? I don't remember. You know the guy. The guy who was at the White House in January, I think, and he was trying to sell pillows to the White House. And then, so what happens? Seriously, what happens? So you've got him sworn in on January 20th, and yeah, first thing, he cuts gas prices in half. So instead of paying $3.60 a gallon, suddenly gas prices are down to $1.80 a gallon. So of course, that's job one. He cuts the prices of old-fashioned subs by 50%. He puts a chicken in every pot, or pot in every chicken. And then he still has time before 5 p.m. to go after people who have disagreed with him. And what then? He's president. Nobody would stop him, thanks to the Supreme Court. That's the problem. You know, if you have some guy who winds up thinking he has the power to go after political enemies, come on. That's not what this country was built for. This country was built for vibrant discussion, thoughtful conversation, and AM and FM radio in every car. Morning, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Bob from Binghamton. How you doing?
Hey, great. What's going on?
I'm the guy who was nitpicking when I thought Kamala Harris shouldn't be stealing anybody's honor by saluting people that she has no rank over. You remember that a couple weeks ago?
Oh, I remember it vividly. Who could forget?
Beautiful. Now,
yeah. So what's today's nit that needs to be picked?
Today's nit is you misquoting Trump and what he said on Fox News. He said after they weaponized the government against him and all his associates, he would have every right to go after those people. But that's not what he wanted to do. He could have done that to Hillary. He could have gone after her. He didn't. So that's all a bunch of lies. Have a nice day.
All right. Well, okay. I feel safe now. Now that he's not going to go after anyone who he views as an opponent. 11:17, good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name and where are you calling from? I'll try one more. Hi, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Bob. It's Jean from Vestal.
Welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Okay, I didn't really hear the whole program today. I was talking, my sister. But I wanted you, because I just heard a little bit of you saying stuff about Trump. I want you to just maybe look up Kamala Harris swipe of her pen. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening. Sometimes people say I interrupt. I chose desperately to not interrupt. Now, see, that's why I interrupt, because if I don't interrupt, then people get scared.
Right. Well, last time I called, I was on hold, and then I got disconnected. So, and I never got through. So I thought maybe we got disconnected again. But I want you to just look at, it's a very short clip. It's from 2019. And if you're threatened by anything that Trump says, you should just listen to what she does with a swipe of her pen. And the way she says it. It's very simple. It's, I don't know how many, it's maybe a minute long. And it's chilling. And she did use her swipe of a pen. And she threw people, she's bragging about throwing people in jail. And keeping them detained.
Well, hold the phone. Wait, hold that thought. I want you to just hold that thought.
I learned, I think I was, 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power.
Right. So she's talking about the power. She's just telling it like it is. That's the power of a prosecutor. She's telling the truth. The power of a prosecutor. So the good news, when she's elected president, she'll not be a prosecutor. She won't have the power to prosecute you or me.
Oh, she'll send the FBI after us.
Oh, they won't. Look, the FBI already doesn't like her. The FBI doesn't like Democrats.
Oh, no, they do.
No, they don't. When is the last time you saw the FBI endorse a Democrat?
Doesn't matter who they endorse. It's what they do.
Yeah, they don't like Democrats. So what she was saying in that speech, and I believe that clip, by the way, was from C-SPAN, which I found on YouTube. So just to identify, to credit, somebody put that on YouTube, 55 seconds. And apparently this was from when she was speaking in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and just illustrating, which, by the way, I think most prosecutors would agree. They have the power, and that would be true of a district attorney or any prosecutor in this country. They do have the power to potentially destroy your life with the swipe of a pen. So she was being honest with you.
That's what they're doing to Trump.
Oh, his life hasn't been destroyed. If anything, the guy is raking in more money than ever. He's more popular than he's ever been.
Because people like me see how wrong it is.
That's my point. That's my point. Even though he's been convicted of 34 felony counts, he's more popular than ever because of people like you. Imagine how popular he would be if he was convicted of 100 felony counts.
That's right. We know it's crooked.
See? That's the point. There are people who have no respect for the justice system, the so-called law enforcement crowd, who think that it's somehow a badge of honor to be convicted of nearly 36 felonies, and that's why you should vote for a felon?
Yep.
All right. Well, it's your vote. You're free to... Hey, the way I look at it in America, anybody in this country, anybody... That's Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Communists, Marxists. Anybody is allowed to vote for a convicted felon. That is your right as an American citizen, and nobody is going to take that right away from you. It's 11:22 at WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
You are a liar.
Well, okay. And suddenly, that's not true, but... Suddenly, the Peanut Gallery chimes in. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
The Peanut Gallery.
Oh, good morning. What's your first name?
Good morning. Dave.
Yeah, from?
From the wonderful town of Vestal.
Yeah. Have they raised your taxes exorbitantly yet?
Bob, I don't even want to talk about it because I know what's coming.
I'm sorry, is this thing on? Okay, continue.
I know what's coming. Just waiting.
I'll just say this. I'll say this, Dave, to you and all your fellow Vestal residents. Don't say we didn't warn you. Continue.
Yeah, why that vote, why they reached the 60% threshold is beyond me. I don't know. I mean, who did all the voting? The millionaires? I don't get it.
That's the thing. There are so many millionaires and so many people who live in wonderful, beautiful, some of the most expensive, loveliest homes in Broome County or even in the tri-state area. I mean, I've been to parts of Connecticut where they don't even have homes that are as nice as some of the homes in Vestal. So those are the people who just, hey, tax us more and more. We got the money. You tax us. You raise our taxes 200%. We still have money left over. Those are the people who like, hey, bring it on, man.
Bob, don't they have to prove that they reached the 60%? I mean, we're just supposed to take their word. You know how I
trust them. I trust them.
Yeah, you do.
No, I trust the leaders in the town of Vestal. I trust them, and I have no doubts that they're doing. Dave, they're doing everything in the best interest of you and other people like you.
Sure they are, Bob. Hey, you know what I wanted to touch on, Bob? Yesterday when I called, about the thefts in the gun stores there. Remember I called yesterday? And by coincidence, I'm watching 34 News last night, and they had a story on it. Did you create...
According to who? No, who? Well, because Jim Emke listens to the station. So who said that they're gun thefts?
Channel 34.
No, I'm saying who did they quote as saying they were gun thefts?
Who did Jim quote? I don't remember him quoting anybody. He said there was 45 guns stolen.
Yeah, according to whom? He has to attribute it to someone. Who did he say told him that?
Well, he didn't say Bob Joseph.
I know, of course, but I'm saying, how do you think they learned about it? Because they listened to the program. I didn't say he based his story based on this program. Okay, Here it is. There's a story. And again, of course, we have the world's slowest computers, so hopefully by Friday this will load. Okay, so Samantha Rich wrote the story. In Endicott Sporting Goods Store, which technically I think it's out in Union Center, so it's not in Endicott. We would say Town of Union. It says the store was a victim in a string of firearm burglaries. It says according to the sheriff's office. Now it begs the question, why the sheriff's office didn't put out a news release. I didn't see a news release from the sheriff's office because when this came up on the program a few days ago when we received a call, I mentioned, well, if this is really happening, then Sheriff Fred Akshar will certainly contact the program to tell us about it, and we never heard. So apparently they decided to put a post on Facebook. It says, in a post made to Facebook, the sheriff's office announced that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and blah, blah, blah are offering a reward for information for people stealing guns. So my question is, why didn't they put out a news release?
Good question.
Why is it on Facebook? I don't troll Facebook. I got to go out. Look, my time is too valuable to be sitting around smoking weed and looking at Facebook for story ideas. I have to get out of here and go out and talk to people. And I'm not going to go to every place in the tri-state area that sells guns to ask if somebody stole them. I depend on law enforcement. If somebody steals guns from a retailer, whether it's in the town of Union or in the Union District of Endicott or on East Main Street in Endicott, if guns are being stolen, then it's up to the law enforcement people to alert the media, because that means bad people. And I'm not kidding. Bad people may have access to guns, and then what happens? What happens to people like you? What happens to people like me when we encounter a bad person with a stolen gun?
We fire back, Bob.
So my question is, why did they post it on Facebook? That doesn't help me. I'm sitting here monitoring my email and trying to report the news, because that came, what day was that? Last week. It says here the burglary was August 7th. Why was that on News 34 on August 20th? It should have been on the next day. We should have had an alert. An alert 1 Bravo that some maniac is driving around with stolen guns looking for somebody like me.
It's the same old story, Bob. They're never in a rush to inform us.
No, see, and that's why people don't like the media. Look, I hear a lot. Trust me, I hear a lot. Oh, you wouldn't believe what I hear. So, and it's like even this morning, honestly, I'm out there on the street, on the mean streets of the Parlor City, talking with cops at 4:49 in the morning, talking about some bad stuff, but I can't report on it because they didn't put out a news release.
That's, you know.
Look, you see that, you know, look at me. I'm just an honest broker of information. But the question you would ask yourself, if the sheriff's office knew that weapons were stolen from Union Center Main Highway, why wouldn't they? This program is on every darn day. Every darn day the program is on. The sheriff has been here. He knows where to find me. And right. Dave, if Sheriff Fred Akshar came into the studio right now and said, Bob, I have some information about a string of burglaries involving weapons here in Broome County. May I please have some valuable airtime? I would say, absolutely, Sheriff. Come on. Tell what you know, because we want people to be safe.
That's right, Bob. And Bob, keep pushing.
I'm not going to push.
No.
I'm done pushing, baby. No. It's up to the citizens of Broome County to push. It's not up to me. I am not going to be forced into a situation of begging and cajoling people to send out information that used to be routinely sent out. It's not up to me. It's up to the good people of Broome County. You know, if they think putting something like that on Facebook, of course now I have to check. Maybe they sent this out. Wouldn't it be awful? Hold on. What if they actually sent out a news release and I missed it? Oh my goodness. Wait, let me check news releases. Oh, my face would be red. Oh no, that's just from the sun. No, but seriously, don't you think if somebody steals guns? Now, it's one thing if somebody steals one gun. I don't expect every time a gun is stolen that we get a news release. But any time more than 2 guns are stolen, I think they ought to put out a news release and say some guns were stolen from some store or some guns were stolen from somebody's house, so be on the lookout.
differently, Bob. 45 guns, that's an arsenal.
That's a lot of guns. What if that guy comes for me?
Comes for anybody. No,
what if it's somebody, I'm serious, what if it's somebody who's disgruntled, who no longer calls the program, and then comes for me?
That couldn't happen, Bob. You're loved. You know that.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, like I say, I can't report what they don't tell me. You know, I mean, I do my best. Trust me. Like I say, what other reporter was out at 4:49 this morning talking with the cops? None.
See, Bob?
See?
But you know what? And you are pushing then. Don't say you're not.
It's not pushing. No, there's a difference between reporting and pushing. I'm not going to push anyone. It's not my... Hey, I don't control the release of news. If anything, the more I ask, the fewer news releases to get put out. Have you noticed? Over the last decade, you know, I've been asking questions, and too often they still don't put out news releases. I could come up with a list of at least 20 stories from the last 6 months that I know about that they should have put out news releases on, but I can't. Every time that I hear of a story, I don't have time to spend 5 or 10 minutes begging them to put out the information.
No, but at least you make the attempt, and you do gain some ground, Bob.
I do, I know. I mean, I'm not giving up. But, again, my point, something like 45 guns, I mean, come on, man. At what threshold does it rise? Okay, if it's 45 guns, we'll put it on Facebook. If it's 100 guns, we'll send a news release out.
The good reporters do some pushing, Bob. You know that.
I know. Well, I like to think it's not pushing, it's asking questions. All I do is ask a few questions.
I know.
All right, well, you know, maybe they'll find the guy who stole the guns. I don't know. Or maybe they won't. Or I don't know. I do know this. They'll put on a news release. If they find the people who stole those guns and they charge people with stealing the weapons, they will put out a news release on that. And my guess is they'll actually send it out and not just put it on Facebook. It's 11:33. This is Bob Joseph standing for Law and Order and the American Way on Binghamton Now. Let's go back to the phones. DJ in Binghamton. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. It is a blessed day, I must say. And how are you doing today?
Simply fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Me too. I'm tired of all this politics and everything.
Oh, I'm so sick of it. You know, I would love to go just a week without any politics.
Yeah, I don't have words. But I'll tell you what I did find out. $81.5 million. $81.5 million was made by the movie It Ends With Us, and it only took $25 million to make. Did you go see that movie?
No, I don't usually see many movies. No, probably not. No, I usually see about one movie a year. I think I already saw this year's movie. I don't even remember what it was, but I think it had something to do with car races or something, or crashes.
And don't you know that when something good comes, you got the haters? I have a shirt I was just looking for. It says, if you got haters, you're doing something right. They're saying that Blake Lively and her actor was the one that she got involved with in the movie was fighting on the set. And then the other main actor said, no, they weren't. Don't believe rumors. People are hating on him for making $81.5 million.
Hey, they're jealous. I say they're simply jealous.
I know. You know what someone said to my mother once? God rest her heart. She's with the Lord, and they said to her, someone called her on the phone, and they said, there are people around here that don't like your son. And my mom said, that's just because they're jealous.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, what's not, hey, DJ, what's not to like?
I know. I'm such a nice guy. Maybe I haven't been told that, but I think it myself.
Well, you got to have an ego. Come on. If you don't think highly of yourself, what's the point?
Not really ego. It's called high self-esteem.
Okay. High self-esteem. Also known as ego. You have to have enough ego to get out of the bed every day, to go outside the house and go do stuff. You got to have enough ego, high self-esteem, to go out and do stuff.
Hey, Bob, I got a suggestion. And Don't get upset when I suggest it to you, because I sometimes you.
I don't like your suggestions. Go ahead. I caution you. You know from the past experience, I don't like your suggestions. So go ahead.
Well, it's not bad. Don Morgan in the morning is gone, and then you're going to be gone. Why don't you guys play Michael Savage instead of the Red Eye guys? Because all they do is talk about themselves and laugh and guff off. Where he has very interesting. Mike Savage comes on, Sunday? What time does he come on, 4? Something else other than, because we're going to go a whole week without you. Of course, you could have me as a special guest do the show. So.
Why don't you do the show? You should just do the show. Come on in, just do the show. Get permission, though.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I like the idea. Find somebody good to do the show. Airport Road Bob, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Bob. A couple of quick things. The gun thing, I did see on the internet in the Syracuse headlines that they did recover 3 of the guns from McLean's, and you'll have to look it up because I'm going to get it wrong. But the 3 kids were driving around. None of them had a license. The youngest one was either 13 or 15, and I think the oldest one was 20 or 21.
Well, how come we didn't hear about that from the sheriff's office? I don't see a news release from the sheriff's office.
You got me, but it's you can Google it and it'll pop up for you because it was on Google like 2 or 3 days ago on the Syracuse.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was. Again, that still begs the question. If this place in Broome County on Union Center Main Highway was broken into August 7th, seems like there should have been a news release put out August 8th.
I agree with you 100%.
All right, well, again, I'm not the one who keeps secrets. I'm here putting out the news. This is the news station. So but again, okay. When the call came in last week, my first inclination was, I think I'll go drive around West Corners in Union Center and just go to various gun retailers and ask if they've been burglarized lately. And I said to myself, why would I do that? I'm not investigating it. It should be the investigators who put out the word. So if some dude or some teenage punks are out there driving around with stolen guns around Union Center or West Corners or Endicott, then I know to watch out so I don't get my head blown off.
Well, I got it from an inside source that works at the state police that they did want to keep it quiet in the beginning because they had some leads.
That is the most tired excuse ever. It's under investigation. Everything's always under investigation. I hear that so often. You know what? 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, things were still under investigation, but they put stuff out because they wanted to protect the public. They still investigated and they still found the culprits, but they also wanted to keep people like you and me from getting our heads blown off by a bunch of teenage punks.
Agreed. My second thing is Town of Maine Board last night had their monthly meeting. They filled the vacant seat that was left by the person who resigned in July to be filled by Matt White. Matt White's on the planning board, is going to jump from the planning board to the town board until the end of the year to fulfill that position. Since we have, a major fight going on against the IDA and trying to kill the corporate park. They also signed a moratorium on no battery storage facilities in the town of Maine. I believe you'll see that happening in a lot other towns. I know town of Dickinson's already signed one. We talked about the battery storage facilities and the dangers with them. So they signed a moratorium not to be able to build anything or present anything for at least a year while they update their zoning laws and look into the projects. But just wanted to give you an update on Town of Maine business. Some of the Maine people do listen to the radio and they don't get to the meeting. And again, like you said, it's our job to provide the news since nobody else is taking care of it besides you. And
or just keep trolling Facebook. I guess that's where we have to go to get our news now. Oh, well.
Sad.
Sad state of affairs. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks. 11:44 at WNBF. Seems kind of sad that you have to go looking for crime reports on Facebook. Well, Bob, it's the 21st century. That's how it's done now. Well, here's something that we found during a quick search of the internets. So this shows you, again, as they say, what can you really do about it? Bottom line is you can't do much. They have been looking for some people. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's take a call first, because I understand that we have a caller who is trying to assist one of our listeners. Hello, is the caller there?
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to identify yourself. I know you said that you're concerned about a caller who might be in distress.
Yeah, the caller was really worried about our Democratic Kamala Harris and the swipe of a pen, and that made her very, very uncomfortable, very nervous. Well, I wanted to explain why Kamala Harris is running for president, because I don't know if she remembers or not, but on January 2nd of 2021, Donald Trump had a 1-hour phone call with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger about the votes. And during that phone call, he maintained falsely that he had won Georgia by hundreds and thousands of votes, insisting that the certified election was wrong. Well, Raffensperger came back and said, no, Mr. President, it's not wrong. And then he said during his pressure, he started pressuring this guy into changing the election votes. And Trump said, and I quote, I just want to find 11,780 votes, the minimum number needed to overcome Biden's advantage in Georgia. And Trump started intimidating him, hinting that him and his attorney could face a possible criminal investigation. You know, I quote, that's a criminal offense, and you know you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you. This is the President of the United States intimidating a Georgia Secretary of State who's no longer there. He got hate mail. He got all kinds of stuff, and he didn't even use a pen.
Yeah, okay. I seem to remember that. That was on the news.
Yeah, and you know what happened after that Georgia call? It was only for an hour. Him and his team spoke on Zoom with officials in Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And Bob, you know, this is why we have to, I love this station, because you can't let these lies just sit there. You can't let these diversions sit there. You can't let all this nonsense sit here. I've told you before, you Trump people, you've got nothing to stand on with this guy.
All right. Well, I appreciate. Thank you for putting the caller at ease. And I know sometimes some of our listeners find themselves in distress because of certain things they may have heard on this program or perhaps heard or read elsewhere. So thank you. It's 11:50. So here we go. This was reported by WSYR TV in Syracuse, and apparently they had information about gun store thefts, including the gun store theft that happened in Broome County. Let's listen. This is a clip that was posted on YouTube by News Channel 9 in Syracuse. Listen carefully.
A spree of gun shop break-ins, and tonight federal investigators are putting you on the lookout, offering a $5,000 reward to catch the thieves. A total of 45 guns were stolen. Shops in Cazenovia, Watertown, Syracuse, Endicott, AJ Archery in Cazenovia, MD Arms in Syracuse, McLean Sporting Goods in Endicott, Denver's Firearms in Watertown, all saw firearms taken between July 27th and today. Now here's a look at the gun thieves caught on camera. At the Cazenovia location, 20 guns were stolen there. The burglars all wearing dark or gray hoodies, sneakers, and Crocs. If you can help investigators, call the ATF.
All right, well, there you go. That was the story from News Channel 9, WSYR in Syracuse. It is dated August 17th. Now, I keep a close watch on the news releases that are sent to WNBF News, and I didn't see the news release reporting on the gun thefts in upstate New York, including in Broome County. So maybe it was trapped in my spam filter or something. But anyway, at least News Channel 9 had it. So congratulations to them. They have better reporting about what's going on in Broome County than I do, apparently, or better sources. 11:52 at WNBF, trying to keep you and your family safe from gun thieves. Hello, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? Hi, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? All right, third time is a charm. Said Meatloaf. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vinny the liar.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jesse from Owego, Bob. How you doing?
Good. Good. What's up?
I'm very curious. What is up with this secret agent phone number that you've come up with now?
Because all we want, or the only people I want calling are people who want to be on the program. Otherwise, it's a secret. If you're calling this number while Binghamton Now is on, if you're calling to talk for any other thing, if you want to know the weather or whatever, this isn't the weather line, this isn't time and temperature, this is the secret number for Binghamton Now.
Well, you know what? We could, if you think about this, and we got to work on the marketing skills, if we come up with a secret AM radio, this could be the best seller on the planet.
I think you're right. We'll have, starting with the 2025 Teslas, they'll all contain secret AM radios, but you have to know the secret code in order to activate it.
Yep, and it's going to have to be one of them wind-up kind of things. I don't know about all electric, so just something to think about and ponder on, Bob.
Well, I think you're onto something. I admire your marketing genius.
Wow, I'm short left-handed and Irish. I don't know. I got a lot against me.
Yeah? Are they selling any more Pepsi in Owego, or did they sell out of all the Pepsi?
I've heard them commercials. No, let's stick the Moxie in your banana cream soda, which you've never tried yet.
I'm planning to try it on Friday.
I'll be hopefully not dead and in the casket by then, Bob.
Tune in on Friday at around, I would say, about 11:30.
Is that, depending on what time? It's not daylight savings time anymore. I'll make sure I'm not an hour late.
Tune in around 11:30. It sounds like some sort of scheme that we've been running since June. Seems like it's been 2 months since I got that banana soda. I bet the problem is by now it's probably gone bad.
Oh man, I never thought about that.
It was probably fine when I picked it up during the Strawberry Festival, but now it's suddenly, I should look to see if there's an expiration date. It probably expired August 20th.
I would give Steve Crudy a call. I think he might come through for you.
All right. Or someone else probably could get me a fresh can. If not him, I know someone else who could get me a really fresh can.
Okay. Well, there you go. All the power to you.
Thanks. Tune in Friday morning at 11:30 to see if I actually drink my banana cream soda. After 2 months, you would think after 2 months that I would finally get around to sampling it and giving you my review live on the air. Maybe I'll do it this Friday. I think that'd be nice. Hey, we had a great show today. Looking forward to another one tomorrow. I'm Bob Joseph. You've been listening to Binghamton Now. Stay tuned for more right here on News Radio, WNBF and WNBF.com.